these guys are seriously back. I was super impressed. Not that I didn't like them or anything like that before, but I just knew Rise to the Top, and I was just like, when I listened to this album, it blew me away, and I was like, there's nothing that really sounds like this right now.
I'm Jason Myers from the band Icarus Witch, and you are listening to the Crash Course Metal Show, featuring Trevor Crash Knight, the next generation's voice of classic heavy metal.
What is good, guys?
Hey, how's it going?
Alrighty, guys, thanks for clicking on another Crash Course album review. And what we have for you today is a pretty good one. I'm quite excited to talk about this. And that is Sabire's Jatt from 2024. Now, this album is brand new. It's coming out June 28th. So I think by the time, if you guys are watching the premiere here, it will be out tomorrow, and quite excited. Now, I do not own a physical copy because it's not out yet, sadly, but I am going to be looking high and low. Hopefully I can find one, at a local record store here in America. But, and that's one of the things, because Sabire, I have known of Sabire since about 2019 or so. With I knew the song Rise to the Top, very good song, but I just was never able to find anything physical, was able to get anything physical, so I just haven't been following Sabire as closely as I should. But I will say, though, this album, Jatt, I believe that's how you say it, Jatt, stands for hell, from what Scarlett told us. So Scarlett and Paul Corbin does the drums, and then you got Scarlett doing everything else: vocals, guitars, bass, keys, and percussion. And they do have a touring lineup as well, but just for the album, it's those two. And I gotta say, for people that don't know who Sabire is,
Where you from? You don't know Gator.
I would say very kind of like a traditional sounding metal, but along with Scarlett has unique vocals. I guess the closest thing, I know a lot of people compare them to a glammy WASP, which I can I do hear influences of that in his voice, but I think some of that comes with the imagery as well. If you watch any of the Sabire music videos, he has kind of a Blackie Lawless look, so I think that's where some of it, a lot of the comparison comes from. But then also kind of with the Wasp, with this album anyway, with Jatt, think of a KFD style, somewhat industrial to it. It's weird. It's very atmospheric, but with KFD, it's very, in a depression type mode, very not party, obviously. But with Sabire, turn it 100 times the other way to more of the party atmosphere, but with that industrial trace to it, that sound a little bit to it. It's great guitar solos, just great stuff. 80s sounding stuff, but certainly modernized and with a industrial feel to it. So sadly, we had to wait 5 years since the debut album, and that is Gates Ajar from 2018. Then they also did have Mistress, I believe, from 2020. I think that was just an EP. And then now finally we have Jatt 2024 coming out here in June. So quite excited for that. People throw them in the acid metal subgenre, and I had no idea really what. I can't name you a band that's in acid metal, but I guess this Sabire would certainly be one, because they do have that distinct sound of because it's not industrial. I'm saying industrial, but it's not industrial, but there is that production style to it. And I think with this album, with Jatt, it is loosely concepted, so we'll kind of go through it here when we go through the tracks, what I kind of thought, because even before I read what this album was about and stuff like that, I kind of thought, hey, this kind of feels like you're in a dungeon, or you're locked up, you're a sex slave or something, just things like that.
Hell yes.
you hear lyrics and just the atmosphere of the album, some of like these titles, song titles, and it's just like, okay, I think I know like kind of like what we're dealing with here. But yeah, so let's jump in here to the track list and see what he has for us. And so you first off, you start with The Doorway. And that's the thing. You have 3 tracks. So 15 tracks, I know, I say all the time, if there's anything more than like 11 or 12 tracks, it's going to be tough to keep the focus. It's very rarely do you find anything over 10, 11 tracks that's a great album. There are exceptions. But, so when I seen the track listings there, I was like, damn, I'm kind of scared here now. Like, are they really going to be giving us all this? But I was so wrong with that, because it's pretty much all great, all killer, no filler type stuff. But I will say 3 of the tracks are kind of like setting the atmosphere. So they're only like 3 minutes long, which are still technically for like an intro just to set atmosphere. That's kind of long, but it works. It's called The Doorway. And then also track number 8 is kind of like the same thing basically, and that is called The River. And then the outro track number 15, The Stairs, is the exit. That's another 3-minute one, and they're all relatively like the same sounding, that dungeon sound, chains, just like that type of deal. Very atmospheric, sets you in the mood of the album, and it gets you prepared for what you're going to hear and the story and the journey that you're going to be going on, basically. So you go in here to track number 2, Pure Fucking Hell, right from the start. Scarlett belting it out, and just great riffage all the way around. Fast tempo song, right to the point. Good song. And then now track number 3, Ice Cold Lust, was actually like released, I think, like 2 years ago, even like the music video. So I don't know. So they just threw this on. I don't know exactly like the whole story, like why that was released. Technically, like in music terms nowadays, years ago, like so long ago. But it's amazing. A great hooks. And there are hooks for days on this album, whether it's instrument, whether it's vocal delivery, whether it's lyrics, whatever it is, there are hooks everywhere. Catchy songs, catchy choruses, and you get that right away with Ice Cold Lust. The intro just like it has a great guitar tone to it as well. Very good. This song probably one of my favorites off of the album. Really good. If someone would ask me what's one song, this probably isn't my favorite song, but probably number 2. But for someone to listen to one song off this album and for them to check out the rest, it would certainly be Ice Cold Lust. So track number 4, I'm a Rock. Another catchy chorus here. Very good. Scarlett like says this one lyric in here for the chorus. I think it's I'm a fighter. I'm a stay up all nighter. Like just like I know it's simple, but it's catchy as hell. Like it's so goddamn good. Like just the choruses and melodies for days. Just great stuff all the way around. Just great. Like I said, great guitar tone, great solos. I can say that for most of these songs. This album, it was so impressive. I was so happy with this album. Now we're going on in here to track number 5, Just a Touch of Acid. Here we are going back to a very high tempo, high paced song, in your face. But still, even with like the high paced stuff, fast tempos, it's still melodic. It's crazy to think that more bands don't want to do this or can't do this. Meanwhile, Scarlett's does like 10 of them here on this album, 10 songs like that. It's like crazy, because I guess like I said earlier, there is really no ballad on this. There's probably like one, you could classify one as a ballad, but it's still more mid-tempo deal. And then there's another song that is slower on like the first minute, 90 seconds of it, and then it just goes right into a fast tempo rest of the song. So maybe 1.5 ballads if you're looking for it. And the rest of it's all killer, man. So let's keep going here. All right, so track number 6, we have Alone Again. Another fast-paced, catchy chorus, good solo. And this album kind of reminds me of, if, like I said, if you throw KFD type production or just atmosphere, but throw in Motley Crue Shout at the Devil as well, as far as like the party side of things and such, I think this is kind of like what you would get out of it.
Hey, now you speak my language here.
But it's its own deal though too. Like there's nothing that I can really think of to really like compare it to. Scarlett does and Sabire just do their own thing. This is absolutely awesome stuff here. But now going here to track number 7, Call Me Bastard, I believe is a music video single as well. This is one that it's fast-paced, another fast-paced in your face. So now we're going to The Last Day, track number 9. This would be, I guess, the ballad on here, but it's still mid-tempo, still really good. So with this song, Scarlett's kind of like his vocal delivery is slower here, obviously with the like slower mid-tempo stuff, but it's good, and it's like, I want to say like each of these songs, they fit the bigger picture, and they do kind of they kind of sound the same because it is a part of the big picture, but each one has their own personality. I don't get confused. They're all like pretty much different riffs. Like nothing really sounds the same, but when you're looking in the total concept, listen to the album, you're like, okay, yeah, I know which album this is off of, basically. And that's a big plus for me, that all these songs have their own personality. And now going on to track number 10, Toxic Man. I think this is my favorite song off of the album. So good. So it's very good, like a party song too. But it also fits what the theme of the album is as well. That you can use these songs for a lot of different reasons, and it all works. And so like they do a little bit of a guitar intro. I like the riff, the opening riff. And then also Scarlett does like this slow down vocal delivery, but the music doesn't necessarily slow down like halfway through the song. But Scarlett kind of just says, and now I'm in the blues, like he kind of like says this line pretty slow, and it just like, okay, and then they kick back somewhat into it, like what they were doing the rest of the song. It's just really cool. Like little things like that help with the atmosphere, help with the memorability of a song. And I just, the song just rips. I absolutely love it. So now track number 11, we have Your Render in Hand, 6 minutes. And it's also fast-paced though too, but it's so crazy that Scarlett can do such a fast-paced song and still keep it very melodic all the way through. And it's just, that's crazy. And that's why I think I absolutely love this album. There's an edge, there's heaviness to it, but there's also melodic hooks out the ass everywhere you look here. It's just absolutely great, and this is another song that proves that point. Now you got Chained Down, track number 12, which is the longest song on this album actually, with 7 minutes, and it does not feel like 7 minutes at all. But what I do like about Chained Down though is it is a mid-tempo type deal, a little bit faster than say The Last Day, but Scarlett does some kind of like, he kind of talks under his breath in certain choruses and verses and such like that, which is really, really cool and helps with the atmosphere of this album. And that's the other thing. I keep saying it, but the atmosphere of this album is perfect. And the songs just totally match it. It's just cannot be said enough. So now, The Shadow of My Heart. Now, this is the song that I was saying could be counted as like a half a ballad up until probably like the minute or 90-second mark, and then they go just straight into a fast-paced song. So he starts out in an acoustic type deal, just singing real soft and slow, and then bam, after that first minute or so, they just jump right in, back in your face. Just little things like that help break up the album, help. Absolutely great. I can't say enough about the atmosphere on this album, honestly. Like, it's and for a concept album, this is probably one of the best concept albums that I have anyway. I know Scarlett says it is loosely a concept, so we'll consider it a concept then, because like I said, when I'm listening to this, I feel like I know what the story is. I feel like, what we're trying to portray here, and the whole album is really trying to tell us something. So I'll consider at least a half concept album. So, but nonetheless, though, guys, let me know in the comments what you think of this album. Hopefully you guys pick it up or at least check it out. Check out a couple songs. Please check out Ice Cold Lust, #1. Then check out Toxic Man. And then I guess I'm a Rock. That's a pretty good third track. But honestly, you can throw a dart on this track list and be okay with it. And I can't say enough about it. This album is easily I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I cannot. This album, as of now, is probably #1 for the year. We're halfway through the year, guys, so I'm quite interested to see if anything could come close or take its place, but I don't know, we got 6 months left, and I am so hardly impressed. Like I said, I listened to this album for a month now, and there was a time where I took a couple days off of it, but when I came back to it, it was still just as good, if not better. As time goes on, I'm loving it even more. So that is a great sign that a year from now, I'll be like, this album still kicks ass and still needs to be bought from people that don't have it. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you enjoyed this album, or if you haven't even heard of Sabire before. Let me know, because I want you guys to go check out a couple of these songs. Please do that. And because I don't think you're going to be disappointed at the slightest. Also, guys, if you enjoy what we're doing here, click the subscribe button, click the like button. You know, we love bringing this unknown and forgotten metal to you guys, and that's why we do this. And if you guys are down with that, you know, join the party here with us. We'd love to have you. And then also, too, if you enjoyed this video, check this one out right here.